Well, over the last 14 to 18 months at Proteus, we've probably been to 15 to 16 different conferences and exhibitions right around the world. And we've come today to the NEC, probably Britain's premier exhibition and conference venue, to attend the RWM show. Now, the RWM show is a waste management recycling show which has got a long tradition. But what we've noticed when we've attended all these events is that the attitudes of businesses who attend, and indeed those people who actually visit them, are changing. And clearly it's just reflecting changes in business practice in terms of the impact of the internet. But it really does ask a question about, have we passed the heyday of exhibitions, the time when everybody was dependent upon the national annual show? So what we wanted to do was come to this show here, which is an extremely well run and well promoted exhibition, to see what the exhibitors think themselves about changes in attitudes towards exhibitions. Julian, have you seen a change in the way that exhibitions have worked over the last few years?
Yes, I have. I think the attendances generally are down on what they were, so I think the time of annual conferences, maybe people start to think about every 2 years rather than annually. And I think people are a little bit more discerning, and snapshots and bite-sized pieces of information I think are what people are really looking for, rather than walking away with bagfuls of literature.
So what would you like to see happen in the future then, as far as trade shows are concerned?
As I said before, I think every 2 years might be the way forward. I think particularly in the waste industry, up until the last couple of years there's been a lot of changes, so an annual show worked quite well for a while. But I think it's kind of reaching the end of its usefulness now, so maybe every other year. And I can also see a point in the future where maybe they're going to be virtual exhibitions rather than physical ones, where it's live video streaming, webinars and all that sort of stuff, where it's all brought together under one banner and it's actually delivered virtually.
Brilliant. Julian, thank you very much. How have exhibitions changed over the last few years?
Yeah, you're quite right. I've been coming to this exhibition or its previous entity for about 20 years now, and certainly in the last 5-8 years what we've seen is with Stadler, when we first came here, it was more about imparting sort of our knowledge to local authorities. We're trying to make their business case in terms of the PFI projects that were coming up. And the following year it was then imparting that knowledge to their technical advisors, who were obviously working on behalf of the council, and then the year after that would be working with the contractors who were bidding for the contracts. That's all happened now. The plants are built, the contracts are operating, and really that knowledge is already in the industry. The UK industry has done very well. Its knowledge base has increased and expertise has increased. And so what we find now is we're not really selling anything in the show, and it's more about taking our knowledge from what we've learnt about these plants, how to operate them, and imparting that knowledge back to the people attending.
So where do you think you would like to see exhibitions and conferences going in the future? How do you think you could see them changing over the next few years?
Well, I mean, for us this year, being a sponsor and also delivering seminars, it's been quite good for us. I mean, yesterday it was nice. The seminar theatre was full, and they all came over afterwards and to ask us questions. And that's what we want to do, is really to take our expertise and knowledge and transfer it straight to operators and visitors by speaking to them, and not by trying to sell something, basically. Yeah.
Trevor, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
Well, that was very interesting, and I have to say I do think that the numbers of people attending the event this year is slightly down compared to last year. But there were three key things that came across in the discussions we were having with a number of the exhibitors here. I think the first one was the changing nature of what they're actually trying to do. In the old days it was very much showing pieces of shiny new kit, sticking it in a booth and getting salesmen to talk to other salesmen who were trying to buy and sell equipment. And maybe we've moved on from that. And really we are genuinely in the knowledge economy now, where people are trying to get the ideas clear about what they're actually able to buy. The second important point was time availability. The senior management, the decision makers and the people with the budgets, do they have the time to spend 2 or 3 days coming to an event like this to meet those people when there are alternatives? And the third and final point, and we shouldn't underestimate this one, is the cost. To attend an event like this as an exhibitor, you're probably looking at about €100,000 for the 4 days that it would take, including build-up and takedown. Are there better ways of using that budget to get the ideas across, which is what modern business is increasingly about?